Hey everyone, this video is going to be a little bit longer than the other ones. I've tried to keep the other one shorter, but I basically just want to cover all of Phase 2 from the time we interrupt her to the time we get her to 30%. This is completely timed. There's no RNG to this, unlike the first phase. So I I'm actually creating a weak aura that's gonna, help me with these call outs with what we're supposed to do when. But I figured I'd put this together and just make sure everyone's on the same page, at least everyone who watches this, right? So I've got this video that I'm just gonna kind of walk through of a kill, and I just want us to do exactly this. And it's really what everyone does. So it starts here with the interrupt of the Howling Winds. This is the left group. They just interrupted her, and then we all stack up and bait this glacial ray, right? This is the first thing we do. You can see the three guys that have broadside are going out, and they're dropping that. They didn't really bait this glacial ray correctly. There's broadsides. This is the tank thing where me and Slurpee will run out together, and she doesn't move. She's casting Avalanche on, well, will be Slurpee right here. As soon as this is over, so while that's going on, let me just rewind this a little bit. While this is going on, this barrel needs to be getting DPS down while Avalanche is going on. She doesn't move. That barrel needs to be priority target for everybody. Or ranged, I guess. Melee, it looks like melee can stay on Jaina, but range should DPS down that barrel, because by the time that Slurpee and I make it back, the barrel should be dead. So it's basically the end of this avalanche cast. We all clear our debuffs, and then we just make a nice leisurely walk back to the wall by the second barrel, which is right up here. So this barrel, we're not going to DPS down immediately like we did the first one. You'll see we just kind of wait. We stack on the wall. There's a glacial ray coming. We bait this. I don't know if one of the tanks is going to die here or not.
Out now.
So they bait the glacial ray again. They don't do this right. But you can see this guy up here with Siege Breaker Blast. And it's really important that as soon as you get Siege Breaker Blast, you do not run out. I think it's a 6-second debuff, but if you run out as soon as you get it, or it might even be 8 seconds, if you run out as soon as you get it, you're going to get frozen. So what you need to do is wait until you have 3 seconds left, and I think you can probably see.
Out now.
Right, as soon as it says 3. I assume this is a weak aura pack or something that they're using, because there wasn't a 5, there wasn't a 4. But as soon as you see 3, that's when you need to run out with your Siege Breaker. You drop it right outside of the group. It does a decent amount of damage to the raid, as you can see. And then typically we'll want to have that person pulled back by a priest. We've got 4, so I don't really think we need to assign someone to do it, but that's really what we want to happen right there.
Yeah, okay.
And matter of fact, he did get frozen, right? It looks like. So, and that's why, 3 seconds out, 3 seconds in, you're going to get frozen if it's not perfect or if you don't get a pull. So here now, after that is over, we can start DPSing this barrel. The broadsides actually do damage to the barrels as well as clearing the debuffs. So what the idea here is to get this barrel down to 20-30%, and then the next set of broadsides we will land on that barrel, and that will break the barrel. And you'll hear them call out 35%.
Low on the barrel, get it to 35.
Yep, there it is. Here
Up and
they're
back.
baiting.
Fourth is in back.
No, they're not baiting. Okay, so that's just there's the barrels, and as soon as it goes off, as soon as those go off, you see that pop the barrel. So everyone, clear your stacks, and you stay here for this glacial ray, and this is about where Geo, where we need you to drop your lock portal to go over to the third gate or the third barrel. They bait this glacial ray. They do this one okay, and you'll see the lock portals start going out here. I think they have 2 locks. There's one, and there's the other. And it's really important not to take these directly to the barrel. Take them over to the side, but close enough to the barrel. See how this is positioned? This is really nice, and I'll show you why in a second. You basically wait for this broadside, and as soon as those broadsides hit, everybody except for the tank with avalanche and probably the co-tank. He does it solo, but I think it's because he's a paladin. I think he's bubbling here, and that's why he can handle it on his own. I will go with Slurpee, but everyone takes the lock portal, including the people with the broadsides, and the 3 people with broadsides then go over to this barrel and break it, and everyone else goes up against the wall away from the broadsides. So you can kind of see that
Stack on
position.
shed. On shed.
Right? So 3 broadsides here, and then as soon as you drop them off, you join the rest of the group.
Defensives.
All right. And I think there's just a lot of raid damage here from the Siege Breaker blast. That's why he's calling out defensives. And kind of the same thing. You'll see he runs out at 3 seconds. There it is. 3, 2, 1. He's out. Boom. And there's the big hit of damage. And then he didn't really go that far out. So I guess they're just not relying on their priests. Just back it up a little bit. So as soon as the broadsides go out, they're DPSing this barrel down, and that's what we want to do too. We want to DPS it, break it as soon as possible, and bait the ray. Clear your debuffs. You bait the ray, and then I think there's one more set of broadsides that go out.
Runes.
You can hear him say runes. If we get to this point and we're in good shape, then yes, that's where we want a rune. So you can save them, for most of the remaining progression. All right, here's the broadsides, and they just take these out. They don't have a lot of room, but you don't really need that much room, right? So that's far enough. You want to be right up against this wall. So that when she pushes, all you have to do is turn around and DPS the wall, and they lust, and go ham. And I think this. So the ranged, I don't know who this is, but I think the ranged is doing some damage to Jaina, but I think most of the team is focused on this wall. I'm gonna wait till this wall is done. All right, so the wall's done, and Jaina's at 29%, so they barely touched her. She went from 30 to 29. It used to be you needed to get her to like 26%, but I think with the nerfs, it's really not that important. And then that's it. I'll cover. Well, hell, I might as well just keep going. I'll cover this phase too. This phase is really easy. This is a weak aura that I do have set up for interrupts, but it's mostly for the 2 ads after this. They're focusing the big ad down. They're cleaving onto Nathanos, and just like on heroic, right? We wanna make kill Nathanos as late as possible. They probably did it a little early there. And then we'll have an interrupt rotation for these 2 little ads. One is going to be marked and one's going to be unmarked. You can see here they have 3 interrupts, and I don't know if one of these is marked or not. Yeah, there it is. There goes the mark. So the interrupt rotation on Skull is the Demon Hunter, the Rogue, then the Hunter. The interrupt rotation on the unmarked guy is this other Demon Hunter, the Warrior, and Shaman.
Hot's
Um,
right. Hot's right.
and you basically just backpedal
Not too close to each other.
until these guys die. You stay as a group because these arcane blasts, at least in this hallway, they're always spawning on people. So once you get that down, this I think is going to be the next thing that's going to kind of trip us up. You see it even trips them up a bit. You just need to stay together, and this damn blizzard comes out, and you see people are getting hit by these arcane blasts because there's a lot of them. Um,
Back to blue, guys.
and they try to stay together. This is it's just messy. And then they get to Jaina, and you need to wait. I forget why they're waiting here, but they are waiting to interrupt her. There they finally interrupted her, but I'll try to remember that before I cover the last phase, which I'm not going to get into now because I haven't done a lot of research on the last phase. But that's I don't know. That's the transition, and well, no, not the transition. That's the second phase and the I guess second transition. So that's it. Like I said, I'm going to create some timers for this and hopefully be able to call this out a little bit better so everyone knows what we're supposed to do. But that's it. Everyone should know exactly what to expect and when to expect and what you need to do when we make it to this point. So that's I hope you watch and I hope you absorb this information. Thanks everybody for listening, and I don't look forward to our next night of progression.